Japan's male exodus, the gender war nobody saw coming, by the Chow Time Pod. This name is familiar. I think I saw this channel before.
Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host Red. We have videos today from all Asians.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw this. I saw this channel before already.
The moment a woman comes near, he starts beating her up. This is Japanese men's method for dealing with feminism.
I mean, it's a little extreme, but I understand.
Is this the he's gonna talk about the samurai mode thing?
Japanese feminism has already evolved from squabbling online to real-life Mortal Kombat offline. Faced with Japan's extreme feminism, Japanese men, to keep up with the new version, created the samurai duel. Put simply, there are many Japanese feminists who, for no reason at all, slander Japanese men by claiming the men molested them.
So false accusations, it's a thing. Not just in the US or in the West. A lot of Western Asian countries, which would only be like 3
I still think that my country is the one reigning supreme in this area.
I can think of would be like China.
And now one of the candidates, if win, they will chemically castrate the men that are falsely accused by doing this stuff. Oh, that's so nice. I feel so sad for the men that will have, the we not working anymore.
Japan and South Korea. All the other ones are a little bit more not so Western yet. But Japan, definitely pretty Western.
So whenever a woman suddenly comes near, the man launches into a duel with her and beats her up, because indecent assault means 3 years in prison, while a fight only means 15 days detention.
Again, like a little extreme, but 15 days in the can is much better than 3 years.
Between
2 years.
3 years and
Yeah, I did a video about this long ago, I think over 1 year ago, so I did a video talking about this thing in Japan. So they prefer to actually punch the woman or something like that. Real violence, really to do something violent against her, because they just get to stay like 15 days inside jail, and yeah, they prefer to get 15 days of jail of actually getting accused of something like that.
in 15 days. The Japanese know full well which to choose. So
Math is mathin'. It makes total sense.
why did Japanese feminism reach this point? And how did men respond? Many people in the West have heard of Japan's gender opposition and the outcome in which men, as a whole, lay flat, gave up.
Like, I wonder how extreme this truly is, because everything we watch and cover, we always want to take it with a grain of salt. Right? Obviously, there's some truths to a lot of these things, but not everything is full truths out there.
You look like Asian, so use your place of speech.
But I can see this. Like, if that is the case, dating a woman and then suddenly a woman wants to like accuse you of things or saying you did something, you just start beating her up, and now it's just an assault charge. Which is weird, but mathematically
doesn't mean that
makes
you're
sense.
Japanese, though.
In fact, these very same scenes, endless gender wars online, anti-marriage sentiment, mutual hatred between men and women, mass attacks on feminists and feminists striking back are today beginning to repeat themselves in the debates of the United States and
Why there's only old video footage of Japan, though? Wow.
Europe. But do you know the socioeconomic reasons behind it? Japan's gender opposition must first be told starting from the Showa era, 70 years ago. Japan belongs to the East Asian cultural sphere. Before the end of World War II, Japanese women held a lowly position. After marriage, they were not allowed to.
I mean, it makes sense. They got westernized. They literally got nuked twice by us. And we kind of went back over there and said, my bad, we nuked you guys. Let me help you guys rebuild and stuff, And they became very westernized because of that. I mean, can you imagine going to some place and just bombing them and like, hey, we're here to rebuild for you.
To work. And traditional Japanese culture already taught women to obey their husbands. It was only after the 1950s that the position of Japanese women began to improve somewhat. With US support for Japan after the Korean War, the Japanese economy began developing again. Society was short of labor. the idea of social equality also began to develop. Educational opportunities for women began to increase. Many famous private universities began admitting female students, and companies began offering jobs to women. Large numbers of women were no longer content to be housewives and entered the workforce. Only with an independent economy.
Oh my god, I'm so grateful to all of you feminists for that. You guys give me the rights of having to wake up very soon and work my ass every single day to get a small amount of money that it isn't enough to pay my bills. What? The math isn't mathing and the brain isn't braining. What the fuck?
It's just funny though, like being a housewife to me as a woman would be the ultimate end all be all. No? Like to be able to take care of your kids, have your husband dote on you, take care of you, take care of your house, get it decorated any way you want. I don't care for this stuff, but if I was a woman, I think I'd care for this stuff, right?
Does one gain a voice? Large numbers of Japanese women ceased to be appendages of Japanese men, and from this moment feminism began to emerge. By the 1980s, the Japanese economy began surging, to the point of boasting of buying America. In this
And you notice the pattern here. It's always after wars that the feminist rises. Because guess what? A lot of men just died in war. And you have, and the few leftovers are just too old, or just too much PTSD, or just, deficient of like losing one limb or another. So, who were those that actually could steal the shit? Women. So women became like, they had to become more prominent on the market because after all, like, too much free vacancies because men die, and all? Yeah? And that made women more prominent. Of course, like women started occupying places, made things move socially as well, and blah, 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 blah. So women started to want more and more, and political movements start to take a hold of that and see, we can benefit of this, of all of this shit. And then it's always about some country getting nuked and losing a lot of people to some war that this bullshit starts to rise.
This golden age of Japan, Japanese women's wealth also began to grow explosively, and their purchasing power leapt forward. According to figures from a certain Japanese fashion magazine, independent women in Tokyo spend about 500,000 to 700,000 yen a month
Shit, how much is that?
taking a taxi while paying with 10,000 yen bills was just daily routine, and eating gold leaf sushi was also very common, as women's purchasing power.
Google. The things that rich people think of.
Woman's purchasing power rose, yes, from 0 to something. Yeah, rose, obviously, yeah. For them, obviously it rose because they were actually, like, most of them were not working and all, and now they work, so they receive, like, money, So they went from 0 to something, or obviously it rose. But I bet that the man that might have felt like the effects immediately of that at that time. Of course, it got worse to the point that we are today, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how was that boomer age.
Stuff sometimes is like, let me just add a little gold leaf to this little sushi thing and charge you an extra $3,000 or something.
Rose, women-oriented sectors, women's clothing, cosmetics, luxury goods, beauty salons.
The topic of this video, John, is about male exodus in Japan. So men
and so on also entered
leaving
their
Japan,
golden
it
age.
seems?
Beyond the economic plane, more and more Japanese women began making a mark in politics. The bills and proposals put forward in the name of women's rights also multiplied. At the time, female legislators had a stable and sizable popular base and were courted from all sides. The gender equality movement was also the inevitable trend of the era. In this environment, the women's rights law duly.
Yes, the best thing the modern society ever made. allowing women to vote. Wow, amazing.
I mean, this was also very much going on in the United States too. So us and Japan were very coinciding with this feminism movement.
including equal pay for equal work and a ban on employers, companies, and government bodies discriminating against
Allow us to vote, just to vote eternally on whoever gives us more benefits. So everyone starts to understand that to win elections, they gotta give us even more benefits. So the one that doesn't give us benefits will not win, you know? And who wants to give everyone's things, like a lot of benefits? Who likes that, huh? Democrats, libtards, the left. The commies, these guys love that ideas,
women. Marriage law expanded women's rights.
It's funny because we're allowed to put up signs that says we refuse service to anyone, right?
So they win
But I can't refuse.
because a woman doesn't give a shit if how that gonna impact the economy. They don't want to know shit. They just want to sing. I will vote on this guy because he will give they will give even more benefits to me. That's all. They don't care to understand how that's gonna affect all the whole economy in a chain. And that's how we are screwed right now. That's how the entire world is screwed. Women are always majority. I don't know if you guys culture or like, I think majority of the countries out there, if not all of the countries, women are the majority of the voters. In my country, it's true. Probably US is the same. So obviously, Democrats will win. The left will win in countries like that because women will vote for wanting even more stuff to themselves,
Service to them because I don't like their gender or I don't like their race. But you're allowed to refuse service for any reason, though. I've always been confused by that sign and how the US works with that. I always had the sign and always used the shit out of it and pointed the shit out of it. I just never really realized, oh shit. What if I did use that sign because I was a racist or something? Would that be how would that work?
Before the 1980s, the crime of rape in Japan existed only in name because Japanese culture taught women to endure and swallow. Most assaulted Japanese women
Literally.
were forced to swallow their suffering in silence.
Which is obviously bad, right? We don't want women being raped left and right and just having to deal with it, and there's no repercussions to men in this field of horribleness. I think most men can understand, yeah, we don't want that happening. Plus, if we have daughters, wives, and sisters.
And this situation began to improve as the times moved on.
Yeah, you think about this, but the woman doesn't think the same about the man in the same situation, Not I'm not talking even about grapes, but other things that usually are happening with men, like for example, false accusations and this stuff. They don't think, oh, it could be my dad, it could be my brother, it could be my son. They don't think about that.
In the face of sexual harassment, more and more Japanese women stood up, making the criminal
Could
Japanese
be my
men receive their
husband.
due punishment. Up to this point, the Japanese feminist movement was developing well. Japanese women obtained the rights due to them and the courage to say no to oppression and
that's the thing, like Me Too and all of this, right? Because
Oppression and
there's sympathy
injustice.
behind it, right? We can understand, we can feel sorry for women that are getting taken advantage of in the workplace, to give sexual favors and things like that. We understand that. We feel sorry for that. But women use that victim narrative that we feel sorry for them to such a degree to just accuse and abuse.
injustice. Japan became a representative of developed nations not only in economy but also in culture and thought.
Yeah.
This video in the background is not even a bit biased and red, guys.
Fucking anime is dominating everywhere. Everybody watches anime nowadays. Anime movies are on movie theaters in the US.
But just as the Japanese feminist movement was gradually reaching its peak, things began gradually heading in an extreme direction. First, capital began to intervene. Capital, which had already reaped plenty of profit from the development of Japanese women's consumption, wanted to push further, So the marketing advertising of all sorts of consumer products began actively tying itself to feminist ideology. The most typical
I'm thinking it means capitalism.
marketing case is the extension of the meaning of diamond rings and jewelry. Once the diamond
Fucking De Beers, man. And freaking K Jeweler or whatever, diamond is forever. You fucking
Diamond ring.
ring was
Oh
bound
my
to
God.
marriage. As the saying goes, a diamond is forever. But under the packaging of Japanese distributors, the diamond ring came to represent not only marriage, but also the urban woman's individualism and all manner of broad categories. The ring doesn't need a man to buy it for you, you can buy a ring for yourself. Likewise, all sorts of expensive luxury goods were packaged as indispensable tools for a woman to please herself. The idea that loving yourself means consuming, you are what you wear.
Yeah, and women just ate that shit up. And they love consuming.
And keep eating that.
Most women are just
I think like it's even worse in Asia. Like you see China, for example, they are having literally like women there are not accepting not marry a man if they don't marry with her in a castle or some shit like that. I saw a video about it before. I think it was with you guys here. Like in marriages that cost $200,000 many times, you know, some shit like that. It's real insane.
glorified consumers.
The bag you carry began to go viral among Japanese women, which also made today's Japan a famous major nation of secondhand luxury goods. Finally,
Yeah, I know that like luxury watches in Japan, you can get some very nice luxury.
Something really crazy, something that lasts literally one day. Imagine like throwing like $200,000 into one marriage ceremony that lasts one day. That's so freaking insane.
Used watches in Japan without major markups because they don't mark them up that well, that high in Japan. So if you guys really were like wanting a nice luxury watch, go visit Japan, go check out some culture, some anime stuff, and get a watch over there. But you can't buy a lot. They don't let you buy like mass. You know, they only let you buy one or two because they obviously know you don't want you to go resell them and stuff.
capital even directly tied the material to love. Treating a woman to a meal had to be at an upscale restaurant of more than 50,000 yen, otherwise the cherry blossom lady won't give you the time of day. Not only must you go to a luxury hotel, you also had to give expensive gifts. I'm an independent...
Wait, just the bang and we had to go to a luxury hotel? We can't go to the normal shady motels?
An excellent Japanese woman of the new era. If you want to court me, of course you have to show sincerity. Not being willing to spend money on me means you don't...
Sincerity talks the most superficial being ever created.
like me.
Why is sincerity always
Asian
tied to
woman.
money with women?
Spending a lot is what counts as truly loving me.
Not the Asian woman, specifically the Chinese woman. I think the Japanese is quite like that too.
From this was even born a special term for the phenomenon, romance capitalism. At the time, Japanese trends
They are not all the same. Like in other areas of Asia, they probably are a lot different. But the Chinese and the Japanese one, I think the South Korea as well are very like rotten to the core. They are way too much superficial.
spread mainly through print
Romance capitalism.
How can I say? I don't think they are entitled like the woman in the West, but they are materialists, you know, like I don't know. I can't tell who is worse. Like they are worse in their own ways. Like for example, the U.S. woman seems to be more like problematic in the stuff like they scream. They are they are annoying. They are violent. They are ugly. They are fat. I mean, just telling about you guys' complaints, you know. And the Asians ones, like the Japanese, Chinese, and South Korean, they seem to be more like they don't seem to be equally annoying and entitled, but they are too much superficial. It seems they want everything is based on how much you can pay, literally. But I mean, the U.S. woman is also like that, but the U.S. woman is a whole package. And the women from these three Asian countries, they seem to be exclusively about the money and nothing else.
Wouldn't that be just gold digging? Just with a nicer term?
Media like fashion magazines. The magazines, upon noticing the rising trend of Japanese feminism, also actively began cooperating with capital, pouring more hedonistic values onto women. These consumption trends were labeled happy woman and happy love, which happened to suit the
Yeah, that's the happy wife, happy life thing. Happy woman, happy love. But very similar, right? Not too far off from each other.
taste of the new Japanese women. As Japanese women's voice in the arena of public opinion grew, overcorrecting measures also began to appear. For example, extending the duration of marriage leave and maternity leave, granting women more benefits, having companies give female employees more material benefits on holidays like Valentine's Day and Christmas.
Yeah, and lastly, taxated the single man and woman, right?
And so on.
Wait, what? Women get special gifts for Valentine's Day from work?
But none of this was the most frightening. The most frightening thing is that, in the legal realm, Japanese judges generally began leaning toward women, especially after the crimes of rape and indecent assault returned to the Japanese public's field of view.
I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, men have sympathy too, right? And when you see mass women just getting wronged in that way, yeah, you kind of want to punish the bad guys.
Japanese women began ever more broadly expanding their power to define what counted as harassment. As long as a man had the
Now, guys, you imagine what the... Do you guys can imagine how bad things would be in Japan when they reach the level of feminism that my country has? Of like just the word of the woman can throw a man into jail? Because you know how the Japanese jail is, right? Forced labor, death sentences. Can you imagine that, guys? Can you imagine that? That's real insane. That will be worse than my country. Because my country doesn't have laws to that. But there are people now trying to chemically castrate men now.
slightest physical contact with a woman, it was rape or indecent assault. On the subway, as long as a man touched a woman for any reason, he'd be cursed as a chikan, trained pervert. A supervisor sending emails to a female subordinate.
Oh, you know how it is, Justice. They will just bombard the media in Japan, showing every single woman that is raped, each one for one entire week, to make Japanese woman think that every woman in the Japan is being raped right now, and they will all start to become more and more feminists as we speak. And this is exactly what they did in the US. This is exactly what they did in my country. They do in my country. The plan is the same everywhere. It's worked in all the other countries. Why it would be different in Japan?
Was workplace sexual harassment. Even an office colleague. You looked at me, and I can...
It just took a little bit more of time to reach the same level there. And it's curious because we are getting to see exactly what's happened with every other country is still happening there, because we are past that point already. So we look at that and think, oh, we know already what are the scenes of the next episodes, and we are watching that and looking like, oh, we already know this is just a step, and after this they will do that and that. You already know what's gonna come next, But even we knowing that, even everyone knowing that, they will still fall for it. They will still fall for it. And the clue that you have that tell you that the better is just that they already have a prime minister that is a woman. That everyone said, oh, she's an Iron First. She's Iron Fist. She will put Japan in first place and blah, blah, blah. No. And you can already see Japan has been rotting very more rapidly and fast since that woman became prime minister.
I can interpret that as you harboring ill intent toward me. I'm a woman. Would I, after all, joke around with my own reputation? Without anyone noticing, Japanese feminism had already begun to degenerate onto the crooked path of cursing men in every which way, treating all men as would-be rapists. Or rather, compared with the previous traditional...
that's the goal, right? It's to pit us against each other. And it's to evilize men and to make men the main enemy.
Egalitarian feminism. This voice that directly and loudly curses men is easier to spread and easier for everyone to understand. Whoever has the more extreme slogan can have more believers, and cases of expanded punishment and even slander also began to become routine in public opinion. In 1991, on a Tokyo train, a man, during the morning rush hour, accidentally touched a woman's shoulder and arm and was accused by her of sexual harassment.
No.
The man refused to settle, and the woman insisted on prosecuting. Although in the end, the sexual harassment charge was judged unfounded for a lack of evidence. After several days of litigation, the man still lost his job.
Yep. Same shit that
Oh
happens in the
my
US. Like, again,
God.
a lot of our Asian
It's literally the same shit. It's literally the same goddamn thing.
counterparts are not
But there are still baby steps if compared with the West.
that far off from us.
At the same time, he began receiving threatening letters daily at his door and was ultimately forced to leave Tokyo. Also in 1991, a female employee reported that a male supervisor sent her more than 5 emails a day. Although the content was all work-related, the society of the time still considered it workplace sexual harassment, which ultimately forced the supervisor to resign and led to his replacement by a female supervisor.
It's like, I can't even email my fucking employees multiple times a day.
There were many similar cases, and this is also why the invention of the women-only train car did not first appear in conservative, traditional countries like those in the Middle East, but first in Japan, a developed capitalist country. The bureaucratic Japanese government at the time did not want to solve the complex social problems behind this. It merely wanted, in a purely physical way, to isolate the problem. We physically isolated it all. Now, surely you won't have any problems, right? Even so, at the time, men did generally support the establishment of these cars, because all it took was being accused by a woman of being a train pervert.
It's like, yeah, stay over there so you don't accuse us.
For the conviction rate to be 99%.
Damn!
And once convicted, losing one's job and even committing suicide was commonplace.
Wait, what? A conviction of 90%? What?
Damn! Stay over there so you don't accuse us.
For the conviction rate to be 99%.
Damn!
And once convicted, losing one's job and even committing
My
suicide was
God.
commonplace. For this reason, at the time there even existed a large...
It's like men's lives are literally in their hands, right? Like when you hear the suicide rate, and you're just like, 99% conviction? Yeah, I can see a lot of men offing themselves because they got accused of these horrible things and lost everything.
large number of scammers who made a profession of it, extorting large sums in settlement money. Under the stimulus of the bubble economy and complex public opinion, extreme Japanese feminism developed wildly, to the point of already beginning to guide public opinion and thought. Among these cases, the 1992 Four Boyfriends of the Heisei Woman is a typical example. This article described, in the first person, the lovely daily life of Tokyo women, and in it described the 4 boyfriends that the urban Japanese woman possessed. The so-called 4 boyfriends in fact refer to 4 types of men: the driver, the meal ticket, the ATM, and the true love.
Jeez.
These 4 types of men each perform their function, satisfying women's needs at every level. The driver is the man of ordinary income and ordinary looks, used to run errands and handle various chores. The meal ticket is the man of stronger economic strength, in charge of paying the bill when going to various upscale venues. The ATM is the boy in charge of giving surprise gifts on specific holidays. And the true love is in charge of romance. He can be poor, but he must be handsome.
Yeah, I
That's
can see
right,
that.
this is the Japanese woman's
So the
Oh my
Chad Rowe
God.
of the world.
spiritual home. What this article wanted to convey is that having money, charm, time, and ideas could hardly all appear in a single man at once. And so the Japanese woman should find 4 boyfriends at the same time to fully satisfy her own needs and enjoy happiness to the maximum. At the time, many young Japanese women newly entering society were brainwashed by such values.
Makes sense.
They imitated the protagonist of the article, dating multiple men at once and becoming sea queens.
Makes sense because it's what I already George all like teaches. Oh my God, teach us in 1984, right? Like women are the most like the biggest eater of slogans, you know, and the blah 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 blah, and you know the rest.
Women with many partners.
So pretty much, what is that? A Sex in the City type story article, pretty much. Like, oh, a modern woman being able to just date around and pick different men and doing her own thing.
Thus, the development of Japanese feminism went from initially reasonable demands.
Man, when you see how it developed in Japan and you saw how it developed here, and you're just like, man, they got us. They got us.
Gradually to the extreme and the pathological. If Japan's golden age could last forever, this beautiful dream might still hold up.
Not a trick to said. Mizuki, did you feel for feminism too in your teens or was always awake? I have my downs, but not feminist exactly. But I mean, I believe in some shit about these equalism stuff. Not of the gender, but I mean society. I'm talking about social stuff like economics and this retired stuff, you know. I don't remember exactly how many years old I have, but it has quite some time.
But the collapse of the
I think it has like 5, 6, maybe 7 years. I don't know, 6 to 7 years? Not sure.
Japanese economy was already at the door. Behind this magical social phenomenon of Japan, the essence is still economic and social change. The development of Japanese feminism is in essence, the dividend produced by post-war Japan's high-speed economy combined with a shortage of labor. At the time, Japanese companies' positions outnumbered the people looking for work, and they were willing to pay a high premium, even offering high salaries directly to new graduates.
That makes sense.
Only by understanding this core can you fully grasp why, upon entering the 2 lost decades or even more years, the tide of Japanese feminism receded so quickly. Because the broad economic environment changed. In the bubble era,
You know, it wasn't much though, Tracted. It was just a bit. Just some ideas, but I get rid of that. And it wasn't because my parents, because I think my parents never believed on that. No. I mean, mom. Well, mom got some problems actually. But I mean, I don't know, it's complicated.
You say it, women are only allowed to be feminists when everything is good, right? When the economy's doing good, when men take care of everything, that's when feminists get to be feminists.
Japanese companies could hand out a vast quantity of sky-high offers. But with the bursting of the bubble, capital began entering a winter. Even companies that didn't go bankrupt had to save themselves through mass layoffs, let alone provide positions. Since positions were limited, Japanese companies began following the law of the jungle, that is, survival of the fittest.
Yep.
Whoever could produce more results on the limited salary stayed and was not laid off. Therefore, the Japanese women who were laid off were of 2 types. The first, women who enjoyed the dividend of the feminist movement, but were of
the lazy, did-nothing, DEI types. We know them.
Ordinary or insufficient ability. They were the first to be laid off. The second, women with professional ability but not sufficiently outstanding.
What did the Godfather say before he passed? Winter is coming. And that was 3 years ago. Winter is here.
They were usually highly capable, but in the layoff wave, Japanese men in the workforce were more desperate than women. They not only met targets and then some, but also voluntarily took on all sorts of physical labor. Men holding several jobs at once had a natural advantage. Over time, women who had once been one-sidedly excellent were also forcibly laid off by their companies. In addition, many people say the continuing decline in Japanese women's employment rate stems from Japanese chauvinism forcing women back home. This perception is very superficial. It has nothing to do with tradition. Its core essence is the Great Involution War.
It's the we didn't need you
coming?
because you're kind of useless at your jobs, and most of your jobs we just made up so you can have something to do and not complain.
Taiwan, exhausting internal competition.
No, I don't think I was. I think I was far of being a commie yet. Like, I had some ideas, but they rapidly disappear off my mind when I started to some like A plus B, and I realized it was all a piece of shit, like very fast.
Triggered by economic downturn. A huge number of women were squeezed out of the competition, unable to find suitable work.
I see women thought that they can compete with men. They were sorely mistaken. right? Look at
Yeah, I think with me lasted like 1, maybe 2 years drugs.
how men compete. Willing to put in more hours, willing to put in more labor, do more things just to get the exact same pay. That's true competition.
It's the strong devouring the weak. According to
It was
Japanese
around
survey
my
results,
14 years old.
the proportion of men who, after marriage, wish for their wives to become housewives does not exceed 16% in any age group, and more than half choose to respect the wife's decision. In fact, many Japanese men do not want their wives to become housewives. Put simply, when the broad environment is bad and income falls, all that talk of tradition and isms is fake. Isn't it nicer for husband and wife to earn money together?
I think
Do you really
so.
think Japanese men can't do this math? Tradition often has little persuasive power in the face of a plate of food. After the women left the competition, the cake still wasn't enough to go around. So the portion of men who weren't so involuted also dropped out, and this is the famous Japanese lying flat. To sum up, Japan's cake shrank rapidly. Apart from a small portion of involution kings, all the rest dropped out of the competition. It is this change of era that is the true
Same thing here, right? A lot of men dropped out of the competition in a sense. They walked away.
reason for the total collapse of Japanese feminism. The portion of young men who lay flat had their morale shattered. With no resources and basically no motivation, they stopped pursuing women. And after radicalizing, Japanese feminism had another big problem. It abandoned its initial purpose of elevating women themselves and instead turned to firing on men, hoping men would see benefits of their own accord. So almost all its demands were built on male cooperation. I think you should respect women. I think you have to learn to empathize. I think a normal man has to better himself, has to learn to give gifts, has to learn to provide emotional value. And at this point, the answer from the lie flat crowd was no. No, not a normal man. I'm just a useless
Nope.
wretch. Okay, done cursing me. Can I go back to lying down now? Face
That makes sense, right? Men are beaten so badly to the ground. They're just like, yeah, I'm a fucker. Yeah, I'm a predator. Go on. All right, I'm done. I got it. I suck. I should die. I'm going back home.
with an opponent who had completely given up, who had lain flat even on his own life. Extreme Japanese feminism found that any rhetoric had already lost its effect. And what about the portion of men who won the involution? Surely they wouldn't lie flat too? They say, no, I'm also not a normal man. I involuted for so many years to finally get to sit on the rooftop of a building in Ginza, Tokyo, drinking coffee. You making demands of me, please recognize the situation. The one with the
Yeah, I got all the leverage. I'm the prize, bitch.
right to make demands now is me. A 2016 questionnaire by the Meiji Yasuda Institute of Life and Wellness showed that men who wished to marry were only 38.7%, while women were 59%. Men in large numbers lay flat. Those who didn't were few.
Me surprised, yeah, and then surprised to carry because she faced when no man when shouldn't be in the same room as them.
And women, after a round of involution in the workforce, found that in the marriage market, supply and demand had also inverted. In the end, Japanese women's marriage requirements went from the old 3 highs, high income, high education, good looks, to what everyone sees today. Just having a job and not committing domestic violence will do. In the anti-feminist tide of when the
Which makes sense. It's just be a good person, right? Like, you don't need all these ridiculous things
Be a
to have a
good
good life
person.
together, right? Just don't be abusive and care for each other.
economic bubble burst, many women began to rehabilitate their own image, saying they had never joined the wave of female privilege. Why should they pay the price for some extremists? But unfortunately, when individuals
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. When the movement pushes so greatly, everybody gets affected, not just the extreme ones. Even the good ones get looked at with a
behavior rises to the social level, Japanese men habitually paste on Japanese women the label demanding, unlikable, unapproachable. When extreme feminism began trying to dominate public opinion, Japanese men no longer wanted to spend more time and money to distinguish which women were normal and which were extreme. It's like when cases of the elderly running touch and blame, scams become more and more numerous. People stop discerning whether the elderly person needs help, everyone chooses not to help, since that's safest. Likewise, Japanese companies don't want to hire female employees.
Makes
And
sense.
Japanese men don't want to approach women or take responsibility for their own marriage. Because hiring a woman amounts to taking a risk. If that woman is an extreme feminist, the company or the individual will face irreparable disaster. So at this point, prudently preserving oneself became the most common way to solve the problem. Finally, after so many tumultuous years, whom did the Japanese feminist movement benefit? And whom did it harm? First, the ordinary women who did not take part in extreme feminism,
Definitely got
who
hurt.
may have been very independent economically and intellectually, but who, because of the feminist movement's overcorrection and the abuse of privilege, were forced to pay the price. Second, those who advocated female
Yeah, just like in the U.S., there's a lot of good women out there that want to wait for marriage. Maybe
Yeah,
not a lot,
empowerment
but there's women
everyone.
out there that are willing to wait or have low body counts. But because how all women are just throwing it out there, most men are not willing to wait anymore. And that's
It harmed everyone, but the choice was female to do that. And we gotta admit it, you know? It all works like that. The end result is this because women chose that.
sucks.
privilege paid the due price for putting forward so many unreasonable demands. And more lamentably still, they, as a whole, ruined the image of Japanese women. For a certain period, they touted absurd demands, breeding in Japanese men a fear of women. Finally, Japanese men lost the desire to seek a partner, no longer wanted to take responsibility for marriage and love, which also gave rise to the low birth rate and the aging population crisis of today's Japan. The Japanese man
We're actually not that far off. The only reason we're A-OK is, or somewhat A-OK, is because we have mass immigration.
began to turn into a refined egoist, refusing to take on the responsibility he ought to take. The decline of Japanese feminism thus sounded an alarm bell for the worldwide feminist movement. The essential cause of today's tragedy is not that the feminist movement was wrong. Equality between men and women.
No, it sounded shit. Like, they don't care. They will keep pushing that. They don't give a shit that this is not working, guys. They don't give a shit. They couldn't care less. They will keep pushing that.
Women holding up half the sky is a normal right women should fight for.
Sure.
However, the spread of the feminist movement lacked an objective theoretical method, leading many women to mistakenly regard female privilege as female rights, thereby disrupting the normal feminist movement. On the other hand, the consequences of capital intervening in ideological innovation are frightening. When capital seeks to gain traffic or promote consumption,
I mean,
Yeah,
internet
that makes
changed
sense.
a
You were
lot.
not.
Capitalism and he said innovation. Technology is crazy nowadays. The rapid growth of technology.
Yeah, a lot milk higher. Everywhere birth rate plummeted. China, Russia, Europe, even Brazil's in trouble. If I remember, the birth rate here is 1.6.
It's very easy to flatten and fog up the feminist movement, deriving from it all sorts of distorted values and consumption views. Once the contradiction rises to the social level, the side effects of extreme feminism bite even more innocent women. Every social current of thought is, in essence, a reflection of the economy. Any ism must, in the end, give a material answer. Japanese men either decouple from the marriage market or lie flat, or else, after breaking free of the shackles of marriage, turn into refined egoists. Japanese women find that after noisily thrashing about with feminism for a good while, they neither won real productive power nor raised their employment competitiveness. The only use was leading everyone in cursing men.
Yeah.
But after so many years of cursing, the other side not only didn't change, but either lay flat or became the opposition, while they
Yeah,
themselves
they thought they can keep badgering men to do better and keep doing more. But what did men do? We're only willing to do more if the value was
For what? To increase their competitiveness and make to all other men even higher standards? It seems pointless. Because always more and more will be demanded if you guys keep accepting these terms. And we're always there, but there will always be more. It will always increase. So it's not like you guys really don't have another option.
there, and there's no value for us to do more. So we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing.
suffered concrete losses in the workplace and the marriage market. Why then would I still follow you? And so the once fervent Japanese feminism dissipated. Some evaluate Japanese feminism this way. In fact, the Japanese feminist movement was a success. It's just that the ones who laughed last were not women, but those hosts, male escorts, host boys, who understood the logic of feminism. The feminist tide
Also, the billionaires and the company owners, that now can hire people for like way less than they use it to when only men use it to work and things like that. And also all the consumerism that came from women getting into the market and getting to receive payments. They spent everything in futile stuff, very materialistic futile stuff that just makes that even richer and the economy moves even faster.
broke the shackles of marriage and tradition.
It did.
And the host's gains also began to
Do not
increase
trust it.
enormously. They quickly learned the essence of that logic. Make no promises. Take no responsibility. Invest all their time, energy, and money in themselves. Package themselves. Say a few sweet words, and then
I don't think they are a large milk hire. He said, well, the same corpo doing this social engineering and also shitting the pens because of low birth rate. If this keeps going, they have no future. I don't think that they give a shit about that. They are probably think that they will fix this issue with the AI robots and stuff like that. So they are probably flipping the bird to man and woman.
begin using all sorts of pretexts to extract value from women, arguably. In the end, the true winners of Japanese society. And this is exactly why
Yeah, the fuckboys, right? Like, he's not wrong, right? The men that have the good looks, the money, the status, yeah, they get to do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want. Those are the men that got the most benefit out of everything. It wasn't women and it wasn't men. It was just fuckboys, I guess.
it's worth looking at Japan as a mirror of what could come to happen in the West.
Yeah, women played themselves. They thought they can keep extracting from men endlessly without ever giving anything back or paying back anything. And men were men first. If there's no value to be had in doing something,
I don't think it will burst Lord's Milkaya. Everything that the companies are saying, oh, we are spending so much money with AI, it's not being worth it. We are losing so much money investing AI. They're just trying to get more benefits to government, like from government. Obviously they don't believe in that. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep persisting on this and keep investing money like that. And by the way, it's undeniable that, like, you can tell by these same very corpus that are putting like AI literally every fucking where, that they really don't believe in the shit that they are saying. So never trust what they actually say. Like, just look at what they are doing, and they keep investing a lot in AI stuff, and more data centers, and more, all this shit. So they clearly believe on that. They clearly are pushing for more of that. So no, the AI bubble is not gonna burst. The AI will be our nightmare on the future. The AI will probably overcome, destroy, and rule over all of us. Probably this is what's gonna happen, because every fucking tool that the humanity creates end up being used by destruction, in the end by destruction. So probably AI will be our I don't know, or worst nightmare in the future. But it's just my guess, okay? It's just my guess. What do I know, right? What the fuck do I know? I'm just a fox. So just want to remind you guys to join our Discord server. You can do that by hopping on the link tree that is on your screen, or by going through the link on the description below. There you will find not only the Discord server link, but you also gonna find like the Patreon and Ko-Fi, and also you can find the link to the Kick, my Kick stream platform, and there you can also subscribe and give the subs as well. Just avoid Vtuber at all costs because it sucks, shadow bans me, and takes away most of my money. So yeah, with that said, let's go to the next one. Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, for the incredible support to my work here on YouTube, and especially my 5-tail fox tier member, the Holy Ball, and to all of my 3-tail fox tier members, Wallen the Wolf, Fanny Sylvie, Eat Himself, Chile Not Serious, Eustace the Useful, Zealous Isaiah, Ala Rosas, Max Tenor, Nugutino, Avery, Halcyonic Eder, and TV8. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to everyone that have been supporting me on Ko-Fi, Kick, and to all of my YouTube members. You can support this channel life and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. And that's it for today, my dear Fox Links. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.